Well, I'm live again. Hey, Kimay. I'm live again because I've got to clear up some things that Miss Marsha over there is saying. She wants to sit and make a video acting as if she knows everything, and she knows nothing. So let me help you out here, Marsha. Okay? You say in your little video that I was friends with Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent. Wrong. 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 I didn't even know Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent. So, wrong again, Marsha. Absolutely wrong again. I'm sorry, my dog's barking. I'm trying to feed her. Oh, I'm going to clear up some things, Kim A, because Marsha wants to sit over there on her big high horse and act like she knows what she's talking about, and she knows nothing. So, I'm going to help her out here. She's over there saying that I was friends with Brian until Brian changed his mind about Darlie Routier's innocence or guilt. Now, she's either wrong or she's just flat out lying. Whatever. I'm just going to assume she's wrong. I didn't know Brian when he thought Darlie Routier was innocent. And then she goes on to say that once Brian changed his mind, hello, Dana. Once Brian changed his mind about Darlie's innocence is when I and others, I'm going to correct her, Nenny C, because she's not going to get away with sitting over there like she knows more about my life and my past with Brian than what I know about it. So, she always comes off like she's the know-all of all. Marsha, you know nothing, girlfriend, okay? Because once again, sorry for the noise, I'm feeding the dogs. I didn't know Brian when Brian thought Darlie was innocent. So then she says, after Brian changed his mind about Darlie's innocence or guilt, that I friended Darlie's mother and felt like me and others just went after Brian. No, Marsha, it didn't go down that way, okay? Again, I didn't know Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent. Now, I've explained this a dozen freaking times, Marsha, but you keep putting, you keep putting yourself in the middle of something that's none of your business. So, if you wanna know the truth, Marsha, just hit me up, girlfriend. Just hit me up, okay? So, she says after Brian changed his mind about Darlie's innocence is when me and a group of people went after Brian. No, again, I didn't know Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent. And I've explained my first encounter with Brian. I I joined a Facebook group about Darlie Routier. I said something that struck him the wrong way, and I received over 100 messages in my messenger. I received over 100 messages in my messenger from this Brian person because he didn't like what I had to say. That's how I met Brian, Marsha. It's not like a group of people went after him because he changed his opinion. She had the nerve to say to me, being a hospice nurse, I should have more compassion. She needs to get her story straight. And venomous catnip, unless you're gonna pay for my funeral services, it's none of your fucking business what I do, okay? I'll just add that now. And we all know who you are, venomous, okay? So, your hatefulness shines through in both your profiles. But, so Marsha, since you want to sit over there and pretend like you know everything, let me go ahead and set you straight. Brian came at me first. I had no idea who this dude was. My messenger was going off like a damn slot machine after I said something that Brian didn't like. I didn't know Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent, so you can clear that little misconception up over there, Marsha. And I'm going to tell you something else. If you don't like the way I feel about the way Brian behaved towards that baby, then you can go fuck off, Marsha. Because just like you have a right to your opinion, you don't have the right to your own facts. Nobody went after Brian. Brian went after everyone who didn't agree with him, including the Routier family, who, by the way, Marsha, are also victims. Okay, Marsha? Since you want to sit up there and point out who's victims, you should have ought have included the Routier family, okay, Marsha? Since you want to point out the victims in one case, let's go ahead and point out the victims in another case, which is the Routiers that Brian tormented and went after for years. Is Darlie Routier's mother my friend? She is. I don't know why she's talking about what you do for a living, Nanny C. But she wants to sit over there on her high horse. Oh, and say, oh, and this, there won't be any bashing. Well, I'm not bashing you either, Marsha. I'm telling you to get your fucking facts straight. Okay? Because you rarely have them right. Nobody just went after Brian. Not on Facebook, and definitely not on YouTube. Now, if you want to sit up there and pretend like you don't see what Brian does, go on, Lolly. Then feel free, Marsha. Feel free to sit up there and pretend like you don't see the things that Brian does, okay? But don't sit up there and try to tell me about my past with Brian when you don't know a damn thing. If you wanted to know, you would hit me up in email and I would show you my past with Brian. But you don't want to know. You want to sit up there and act like you're some kind of holier than thou. Like you know the know-all of all. Trust me. Nobody went after Brian because of his opinion about Darlie Routier's guilt. Do you know how stupid that sounds, Marsha? The woman is sitting on death row. Do you know how many people believe in her guilt? Do you think every single non-supporter of Darlie Routier has been gone after? No. Brian brought this shit on himself. So since you want to continue to stay up into mine and Brian's business, then we'll continue to talk about it, Marsha, okay? Unknown Capone, I'm leaning towards guilty on Darlie myself. Of course. And I have no problem with that, Capone. Have I ever come after you because of your opinion? No. Marsha's sitting up there on her freaking pedestal acting as if people just came after Brian because he changed his mind about Darlie Routier. Get a grip, woman. Does this Marsha woman have problems with everyone? She only has problems with people that don't conform to her way of thinking. I mean, she literally just said in a video that I started going after Brian when he changed his mind about Darlie's guilt or innocence. I didn't even know Brian then, Marsha. When I met Brian, he was totally against Darlie Routier. I heard she has my info. Who the fuck doesn't have it these days? I agree, Laura. What's she gonna do with it? What's she gonna do with your info? She wants to talk about threats? I'm so sick of her putting herself in my life, acting as if, no, the bed's not squeaking, the dog has a squeaky toy blink. I just listened to just a portion of her video and the lies or misconceptions that she spewed within minutes. I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Is this lady going to try to convince her following that people just go after Brian for no reason? I think Brian has proven time and time again that that's not the case. And then she wants to sit up there and talk about how Brian is a victim of his son's crime. I totally agree, Marsha. Totally agree. Never disagreed. Never disagreed with that fact. Never said anything any different. My problem is not with Brian being responsible for what his son did. My problem is the way Brian behaved afterwards. And don't sit up here and say, well, you don't know how you would behave. Trust me, Marsha, when I say I would never say and do the things that Brian did, okay? Were there people going at him? Yes, there were people going at him. But the levels that he sunk to go back at him were disgusting. So don't sit up there, Marsha, and you sound like some kind of freaking Sunday morning minister. And you spew all of this stuff as if you know it for fact. You don't know it for fact. As a matter of fact, you're way off, Marsha. Way off. Do you know, she said I used her name for views. Are you fucking kidding me? Like I said, don't sit up there, Marsha, and pretend like you know my life or you know anything about my past with Brian. Because trust me when I say, I never came at Brian first. You might believe all the bullshit he's shoving down your throat, but it's not true. And you're looking like a fool, Marsha. When I went over there and listened to that video, I was like, I can't believe how wrong she is about everything that she said about me and Brian. And to be honest with you, Brian should man up and tell you you're wrong, Marsha. But you want to talk about victims? The Routiers are victims, okay? Whether you believe Darlie is guilty or innocent, either guilty or innocent, her mother, her sisters, her nieces, her stepdad, they're all victims, Marsha. Do you think Brian had any mercy on them people? Do you want me to pull his old videos and show you? How he victimized those people? Do you want me to bring Darlie Key on my panel, Darlie's mother, and let her tell you how the story really went, Marsha? Since you can't seem to get your facts straight? Oh, I'm fine, Only Fools Lie. I'm just not going to let Marsha sit up there and put out total misconceptions and or lies. Total misconceptions or just blatant lies, Marsha. Pick one, okay? Because you don't know anything about mine and Brian's past. All you know is what Brian has told you. And then you sit up on your panel the other night when I was up there and I made a statement about calling Brian upset when his son was convicted. And you said he told me that. You said that, Marsha. You said Brian told you that I did that. You said it, Marsha. And then you want to go back and say, oh, Brian wasn't lying. So who's lying, Marsha? You or Brian? Because I put the video up. She's got to cover her ass from him. That's why she changed it. But she's not going to sit up there and act like she knows anything about my past with Brian. Because she's never come to me and said, what's the story? Because I can promise you, the story is not what you're putting out there, Marsha. I never went at Brian about anything until Brian came at me about everything. So don't sit up there and pretend like you know me, Marsha, because you don't. You know nothing about me. And again, you're entitled to your opinion. You're not entitled to your facts. Facts are facts. You never bothered to come to me and ask my side of the story. You want to be friends with Brian? Be friends with Brian, Marsha. I don't care. I don't care. There's a lot of people out there that support Brian. It doesn't matter to me. You're right, they don't care about the truth. But don't sit up there, Marsha, and act like you know something about me. Because you know squat. You know what you've been told by somebody who's going to do his very best to not admit to the shit he's done in the past. That's what you know. She doesn't have the balls to confront Brian over any of his behavior. She doesn't have it in her. Because she made herself look like a total fool. And she continues to make herself look like a total fool. When she puts out her little, I know it all, and really in real life, she knows nothing. Trust me when I say Brian has no problem clapping back or defending himself. Trust me, Marsha. Hundreds of people will tell you that. No, Michelle K., nobody wants you to have no fatal heart attack. It's freaking YouTube. But when I went over there and listened to her video, she is so... I'm gonna say it, Marsha. You're probably as full of shit as anybody I've ever come across on this platform. Hey, Jane. And I'm going to ask you politely, Marsha, and I'll return the favor. You can sit up there and you can talk about me all you want. I don't care. But do me a favor, Marsha. Don't get in the middle of me and Brian, okay? Because you're not going to win, Marsha. The truth and the facts are on my side. Okay? And if you cared about the truth or the facts, you would have contacted me before you got up there on your porcelain throne and started your preaching video. So if you really want to believe that all of these people attacked Brian over his opinions about Darlie Routier's innocence or guilt, that really makes you look pretty damn stupid, Marsha. It makes you look pretty damn stupid. You want to be his friend. Be his friend. You want to support him. Support him. But don't sit up there and talk like you know anything about my past with Brian, because you know nothing. Now, we can let all of this die down, and you all can mind your own business when it comes to mine and Brian's beef. Or you can keep sticking your nose in it, bitches. And you all can keep it going. Either way, I'm not going to lose this, because I have the facts and the truth on my side. So don't sit up there, Marsha, and act like you know anything about me, because you know nothing. I do have a Facebook page. I belong to several. I have my own personal page that's locked down, or I think it's locked down. And then I belong to several groups. I don't belong to the group Brian just said the other day. I went and checked, and I'm not even in it. I'm not even. He should have checked before he ran his mouth about me still being in a group. But this isn't even really about Brian. This is about Marsha getting up there and acting like she has some kind of knowledge about me. Exactly. Those screenshots were not from my group. They were for the original group. So, there are plenty of groups out there, both supporting Darlie Routier's innocence and supporting her conviction. Don't sweat it, Truth. Last year at this time, it was Pink, Makeup Mobster, and Laura defending Brian. There's always some new. I'm not defending Brian. I'm not non-defending Brian. What it boils down to is Marsha knows nothing about me and Brian. She only knows the bullshit she's been fed. And for her to get up there and even bring that into her conversation makes her look like a fool. Nenny C says, I don't talk about her life, her line of work. Why is she talking about mine? Maybe if it was her who helped BSJ put my name, address, phone number in her chats, or in chats. Yeah, Nenny, I don't know. But like I said, if you're out there listening, Marsha, you need to stop. Because what you're going to make happen is I'm going to start bringing out more of my proof, and it is not going to fare well in Brian's favor, okay? I called Brian yesterday. So, did he tell you that, Marsha? What Facebook are you looking for, Trisha? I don't know what you're looking for. About Darlie Routier? I don't know what you're looking for. And Marsha has every right to sit up on her platform. I'm just looking for a way to get a hold of you. Oh. You can email me, Trisha. I mean, yeah, extinguish the fire. I am back. And not for long. I just wanted to correct Marsha over there because she's totally off the mark once again. Pretending like she knows anything about mine and Brian's past. She knows nothing. Like I said, Marsha, it would be in your best benefit to just leave me and Brian out of your mouth. Because you're going to force my hand to put more of my proof, more of my truth out there. And it doesn't show me in a bad light. So, again, Marsha, I didn't know Brian when he thought Darlie was innocent. And yes, I am friends with Darlie Routier's mother. And if you'd like me to bring her on the panel and talk about the way Brian has victimized her family for all of these years, then I'll talk to her and see about doing that. Is that what you want for Brian? Marsha? Is that what you want for Brian? Trisha Gussman. My email is all lowercase. It looks like Money Tracy, Tracey, at gmail.com. The last name is actually Monet, M-O, with the space. But you can't do that in email, or at least it wouldn't let me. So it looks like Money Tracy at gmail.com. Like I said, Marsha, you want to sit up there and say, that you know all about, how Brian's been victimized. You really need to get a grip, chick. You really need to get a grip, okay? Because no one ever, was there a group that went after Brian? There was. I was not a part of that group. Brian knows I wasn't a part of that group, Marsha. I got banned from that group for defending Brian. We just talked about this the other day. We just talked about this the other day. But don't you dare sit up there on your panel and make it look like all of these people came at Brian for no reason. Because it really makes you look stupid. Okay, Trisha. It really makes you look stupid, Marsha. And if you're going to talk about victims, how about you include the Routier family in that, okay? That's messed up. You were one of the only ones who was nice to him. You're right, Ella. I was. I'm just so freaking sick of these people acting like they know anything. And they don't bother to get anybody else's side of the story. Brian has blamed everybody for that group that went after him. He has blamed me. He has blamed to Wanda. He has blamed Everett Scott. He has blamed the Fergusons. He's blamed everybody. Fact is, he doesn't know who was in that group. He doesn't know who created it. I had no intentions on going live again. Okay, have a good day, Dana. But when I sit up there and listen to her bullshit, no, he wasn't allowed in the original Braden group. He was allowed when the group split and went their separate ways. You had Justice for Braden, and you had Justice for Braden Part 2. Which, by the way, Brian, I'm no longer a part of. I agree, Ella. I totally agree. But she's not going to sit up there and pretend like she knows anything about my relationship with Brian. She's not going to sit up there and act as if I attacked Brian. It didn't happen that way. I think Brian's behavior has proven that he has no problem. Yeah, I was the only one who allowed him in our group because I felt like if people were going to talk about it, that he had a right to defend himself. I feel that way about my chat here. No, do I allow Brian in this chat over here? He says I have him blocked. I can show you my block list. He's not on it. But do I want certain people in my chat disrupting my chat? No. I don't go in his chat. I used to. I don't anymore. But my battery's running low. And like I said, I do have some real life things to take care of today. So I appreciate you all coming in here. And like I said, Marsha, if you're listening, if you keep involving yourself in mine and Brian's relationship, I'm going to start putting out my truth, my proof. Everett believes Darley's guilty. Ella believes Darley's guilty. Have I ever gone after any of you guys? No, because everybody is entitled to their opinion. But, Marsha, if you want to throw some victims out there, do me a favor. Include the routiers, okay? Because they didn't deserve what they went through either. I'm horrified at what happened with Brian and his family. Totally horrified. You know, he said over there the other day and said if he had one wish or something, and his wish was that his girls would, be taken care of or whatever. And that's not a bad wish. There's nothing wrong with him wanting to know his girls are taken care of for the rest of their lives. But you know what? If I had one wish, I would wish it wouldn't have never happened. Because nobody came out on top. Nobody. She does believe what her friend has told her, John, and that's fine. And she can sit up there and preach Brian's words all she wants. But leave me out of it, Marsha, because you don't know my past with him. That's your opinion, JoJo, and you're entitled to your opinion. But I think totally different about the case. I've studied the Darley Routier case for years, and I feel totally different, and I'm very passionate about it. Very passionate about it. I know things about the case that the state didn't present. Thank you, your main girl. I can tell you that if I'm sitting on a capital punishment case and my life is in the hands. I don't want my judge to have Alzheimer's, okay? And the judge in the Darlie Routier case admitted in open court that he was suffering from Alzheimer's, and he later died from it. But like I said, this isn't about Darlie. This isn't about Braden. This is about Marsha sitting up there and acting like she knows what she's talking about when it comes to me and Brian. And you don't, Marsha. So you want to support him? Support him. You want to be his friend? Be his friend. But do us both a favor. Stay out of our past, because you know nothing about it, Marsha. Nothing. And Marsha, if you're going to do another video about victims, do me a favor. Include the Routier family and the number one person who victimized them for years. Okay, Marsha? All right, guys. I'll see you around the tube. Bye.